guess let's look a bit now at Konkrete, your project, the collaboration between the two of you. What's the problem there that you're aiming to solve in the housing market?
So I think all of us who are of a certain age, and even people who are beyond a certain age, can appreciate that housing in Australia is very expensive. It's very hard to save the 20% or whatever amount of money you need for the deposits. Yes, interest rates are low, but what has happened because of that is in the last few years property prices have gone really high, and the amount of money you need to save for deposits has been proportionately increasing. So what we want to do is we want to allow people to fund their deposits or release equity, which means that we will be able to match people who want to buy a home but don't have enough money with those people who want to own property but don't want to buy the entire property. And on the flip side, what we also want to do is we want to enable a system where people who are looking to release equity, they can do that without having to sell the property or having to take on additional debt. So that's the vision which we have for the Konkrete fractional fund.
Barrier to entry currently very high, especially for us here in Australia. Many people struggling to get that money together for the deposit, as well as actually liquidity issues within the housing sector, in that you're creating the means to release equity from an existing property.
Correct.
Yeah,
and I think it's a generational thing as well, especially young people, where we have good jobs, but we also appreciate going out with friends, traveling and that kind of stuff. So it's really impacting on our ability to save. But even when banks can happily lend you the amount, the deposit is what's really holding people up. On average in Sydney now, it's over 8 years to save for a deposit on an average wage. In Melbourne, it's 6.7. So this is a way for people to get into the property ladder now, and whilst they're saving, they're already in it, so they're not missing out and waiting until it gets even more expensive until they can actually.
I see that vicious cycle of, you've got this 7 years in front of you where you want to save for your deposit, and then by the end of that, you've actually got another, however much to save, and so on and so forth. So I love that idea of really allowing people to get involved, and they're going to start to see some of those benefits while they're actually still raising that money to actually get started.